can recall, I was probably I was definitely going for Father of the Year at this point. Working late. My son was in high
Right.
school playing lacrosse. I missed just about every daggum game that he had. And
Oh
I was
no.
finally going to cut out of work a little bit early. I was going to make it there, try to be Dad of the Year finally. And, we had some work going on. My building engineer was going to be hanging out to make sure and babysit the contractors so that I could go and actually be dad for a little bit. And I get about 15 minutes down the road. My engineer calls me, and I was like, "This isn't good." He's like, "You got to come back. There's water everywhere." And I was like, "Maybe I'm gonna
No.
quit. Maybe I'm just not gonna show up. I'm gonna quit. I'm done with this." I turn around, and what ended up happening is they were changing out water heaters. The new apprentice came through, had the new shiny, tools and all that kind of stuff, and was like, "Look at these! I can cut it with just pushing a button. Cut the pipes with just pushing a button. Goes up above the cutoff." Snips it, and then all of a sudden
Oh,
cut off water. And my engineer wasn't the typical engineer for that building. So we had a good, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes while the engineer was trying to go shut it off. And of course, you got residual water and all that. So,
right.
I mean, it was a multi-million-dollar claim. It was huge because it was a doctor's office we flooded with equipment and everything. And
Oh,
man, it was,
how did that claim go? Like let's talk about that. Like how
yeah.
was that interacting with the insurance company and dealing with the adjuster?
So what I'll say was we had multiple adjusters on this one. The first adjuster when we came in was actually really cool about it, very laid back. I'd never worked with an insurance adjuster before, and he kind of walked through and was actually telling me, he's like, "Yeah, here's all the money you can make. Here's the great things about it, especially when the hurricanes come through and all that kind of stuff." Kind of
Hmm.
talking a little bit
Okay.
about business.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting when he came back, his claim didn't cover everything that we needed. So we had to go back and while he was a cool dude and it didn't quite cover everything. So they had to bring out another adjuster to kind of look at it. And ultimately the attorneys had to get involved because it was the vendor's insurance who was coming out. So we had their
Good
insurance fighting our insurance
part
and
of
we
the
had to
plan.
hire an independent, adjuster to come out and, not with our insurance, not with their insurance, and basically put the whole thing together and say what it was. And that's where I think that claim came up at like 2.5, $2.4 million because there was so much damage, not just that suite, but the suite next door and everything else just from 15 minutes worth of a water leak.
Dang, that's crazy. Well, what I'm guessing probably happened was the first guy that was cool is an IAA, an independent adjuster that came out because
Correct.
especially if he's chasing hurricanes, stuff like that. And they have a certain level of authority, and how they get paid is the larger estimates they write, the more they make. It's called a fee schedule. So if you write between $0 and $10,000, this is what you make. 10,001 to 25, and it just the fee schedule keeps going up. So if they hit a certain tier, they get paid a certain dollar amount.